October 12th of the Israeli and Palestinian territories map, also known as the Gaza-Israel War. Jozzy here, and today is another update as I take a simplified and practical approach to some of the most important happenings on the ground in this region. So we'll move across to the map as the Hamas militant group continued its attacks on several regions within Israel today, including on the outskirts of Bet Shemesh, where a missile landed. Now, no reports of injuries or damage in this case. Also, a projectile fell on one of the settlements on the Ashkelon coast. So I'll zoom right in for that location there, just north of the northern border of the Gaza Strip. And then also close by, rockets were falling on the Sderot town just a short while ago, with a small number of people so far reportedly wounded. But apart from that, there was only limited and close-range engagements from the Hamas group as they performed heavy mortar shelling on the town of Nahal Oz, and that is also really close to the border there as well. In fact, I'd need to zoom right in for that one, and if I was to measure the distance for you, you'll see it's actually just over 1 kilometer from the border and less than a mile. So as you can see, this is no longer the level of thousands and thousands of rockets and missiles shot into Israel from Gaza as it was happening at the commencement of the war last Saturday morning. And this may be as a result of Hamas now choosing to conserve their rocket and missile inventories for a longer or ongoing protracted conflict. But many analysts are already suggesting they just don't have enough of the stuff, simply put, to continue at that scale they did just 5 days ago. Now, the Hamas militant group obviously takes on some very extremist ideologies of wanting to eradicate Israelis and the state of Israel. And as with recent events, they believe that they could do so. In fact, Hamas militants were even found to have brought ISIS flags to the massacre events over the weekend. Then as for the Israeli situation, on the other hand, it's something closer to the reverse, as their stance is obviously not rooted in extremist ideologies, and naturally they've never proclaimed the need to exterminate Palestinians or Gaza or even Hamas, even though they have the military capability to do so for a long time now. Now, the only exception to that last statement I would make is that Israel has now stated that Hamas, the militant group, must not be allowed to survive given the events of the weekend that unfolded there. But on top of that, it's also very important that I qualify many of these statements by saying that many Palestinians do not actually represent the Hamas extremist point of view and are accepting of a non-violent solution instead. And moving across again to the map as for the IDF engagements, so Israel has engaged in now ongoing military actions against Hamas in the Gaza Strip, where such military actions aim to degrade Hamas's military capabilities and to protect Israeli civilians from current and future attacks. But I won't sugarcoat things here. Apart from saying that the IDF has been performing ongoing communications with residents from Gaza to evacuate from particular regions that they're about to strike, as the IDF carried out multiple raids all throughout Gaza in the past day, including multiple locations in the north, also in the port area, but also in the south at Rafah, as the IDF is particularly concentrating heavily on this sector with airstrikes, which is mere hundreds of meters from the border with Egypt. All which heavily suggests that this is a location that Hamas actually thought to set up operations at, believing it to be one of the safest places given its close proximity on the far end to the border of another nation that is not a party to this conflict. And then moving on for the map, we also have more IDF or the Israeli Defense Forces actions outside of Gaza, in fact outside of Israel as well. As the IDF struck airports in Damascus and Aleppo of Syria, Now, these attacks are a part of Israel's continuous effort to disrupt Iranian supply lines to Syria, and Iran, a close ally of Syria and supporter of President Assad since 2011, has seen its influence in the country expand. Now, as such, these strikes aim to curtail Iran's logistical support to its allies in Syria. Furthermore, the strikes came just as the Iranian foreign minister was traveling to Damascus in an Airbus 340, as Iran has been that close ally of Syria, particularly supporting this Assad regime since the civil war began in 2011. All thus likely suggesting a timing intention behind these attacks to avoid reportedly several tons of ATGM systems, so anti-tank guided missile systems, and other various weaponry platforms being supplied to the Hezbollah group in Lebanon, just to the north of Israel. Now, as for that plane traveling to Damascus, the plane was forced to turn around. Now, moving back to Hamas and Gaza briefly, Gaza being a place that it received a significant portion of its water and power supply from Israel over the last many years, but as of right now, many areas in Gaza are experiencing blackouts, and Gaza's sole power plant has just run out of fuel. So interestingly, the Hamas militant group has actually been firing upon the very nation that supplies a lot of their utility needs. And as a result of that, the switch off, if you will, Hamas is threatening further rocket strikes, retaliations, and things of that nature if Israel doesn't recommence those utility supplies. But in response to this, Israel stated that it will not supply water or fuel for Gaza until the hostages are freed, returned. And the whole situation does tend to show a victim and aggressor mentality all in one from Hamas. In fact, over the years, the Gaza Strip has been provided with a very great deal of developmental aid internationally and from Israel as well, for things like water infrastructure, such as desalination plants, and for energy infrastructure as well. But oddly, there is a lot of reports coming out at the moment showing that Hamas has been taking the pipes from said water infrastructure and turning them into missiles and rocket tubes. So there is certainly more than a non-zero chance that Hamas and its governing body, the Hamas governing body of the Gaza Strip, is also the enemy of the Palestinians in the region itself. So the plot continues to thicken. So just a bit of a short video there today, guys. It's about all I can do. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please, if you like, comment and subscribe. And I do hope to see all of you guys there in the next one. Cheers.